guys, welcome back to my channel. I am going to do a bit of a different video and I am going to do books that I think are fantastic for getting out of a reading slump. So slump busters is what I'm going to call this video. I have seen quite a few people in a reading slump at the moment and I realise predominantly most of mine are thrillers, but I have put in a romance. But yeah, let's talk about some of the books that I think are really good for reading slumps that have helped me get out of reading slumps in the past. And yeah, let's see what we've got. So I feel like this is a good one if you are looking for like something YA, not too thriller. So if you're kind of new into thrillers, I would say A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is a good place to start. This is really quick and easy to follow and to read. It's reasonably short, the chapters are, and it's mixed media as well. So I think that really helps with the ease of a book. So you can flick between audio and physical as well. So this follows, how have I forgotten her name? So this follows when Andy Bell goes missing. Why can her name not come to me? Pip. It's been that long, guys. So Pip basically takes it on as her school project to try and discover what happened to Andy Bell after someone is, in her opinion, wrongly accused of murdering her. So she then goes across. This is actually a 3-book series. The TV series has come out. If you've watched this and haven't read the book, just disregard the TV series. In my opinion, I didn't enjoy it. It was nothing like the book. I think the books are a lot better. I don't think they could adapt it how they wanted to. I believe a second series is coming for that for us, the next one, which is Good Girl Bad Blood. But yeah, I think this is a really good slump buster because it's easy to follow. It's mixed media, so it makes it quicker to read, and it's got an interesting storyline while being YA if you're not really into too much of a thriller. Now, there are other books in this, but obviously it probably comes as no shock as a Frida appears, and that is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. So this follows a couple who go look around a house. They get lost in they get stuck in a snowstorm, and basically they start to look at what is in this house, and they start to reveal quite a lot of secrets. This is twisty. Now, most people say start with The Housemaid, and to an extent I would say try that one. However, I want to bring you a different one to The Housemaid, and I think Never Lie is one of my favourites. It's also one of the shorter books as well. So I think these are really good. It is literally 300 pages, guys. So this will probably be cropping up in another video that I'm going to be bringing you soon. But yeah, this is just such a good read. It was quick, easy. I think I read this in a day, maybe just over. And yeah, I think anything by Frida is so bingeable, and her books have gotten me out of a slump many times. I do think her older work is better though, so I'd err with caution with her newer work if you want a slump buster. But I would definitely recommend Never Lie just because it's twisted. I did not see this coming. This is my favourite Frida book by far, and it's 300 pages, so it's a quick, easy read, which I think is what you need when you're stuck in a slump. Now, this probably comes as no shock because I don't think there's ever a video where I don't mention Steve Kavanagh, and that is Kill for Me, Kill for You. So this is basically follows two women who meet. This is a bit of an adaptation of Strangers on a Train, and they basically say, I'll kill for you if you kill for me. And yeah, I didn't see the twist in this coming. Now, I'm a Steve Kavanagh fan, but I recommend this one because it's probably more of one of his twisty ones. The other ones were quite slow paced, but I like that about Steve Kavanagh's writing. This one's probably more faster paced for the slump busting side of things. And yeah, I inhaled this in a day. I read this before I met him and I was obsessed. I don't think I've got this. Oh, I have got this one signed. So yeah, I've got this one signed. But yeah, this was quick, easy. Again, it's another short page book, and I think that's just kind of what you need when you're slumping. Oh gosh, 360 pages this one. But yeah, it basically follows their story as they go and try and find a way to kill the other person because there are no connections to them. And yeah, that's all I need to say without spoiling it. But this was quick. Steve Kavanagh's got me out of a slump many a time, but he is my favourite author, so I'd recommend this one first. If you like this, go back to his backlog when you're not slumping because, yeah, I continue to just recommend him. Again, I feel like this author comes up in all of my videos, but that is Eeny Meeny by MJ Arledge, and this is book 1 of the Helen Grace series. Now, I'm not saying that this is a series you want to get stuck in when you're slumping, but this first book for me is my favourite, so I think it's a really good one to mention. MJ Arledge is just really good at short chapters. So his chapters are like 2 to 3 pages. They're really fast paced. They kind of leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger, but not enough that you're irritated by it. And yeah, and this particular book follows, basically it starts with a couple waking up in an empty swimming pool and they basically, I think they get a note saying, only one of you will make it out alive. The only way you can get out is if you kill the other one. And this like continues then throughout the story. So you've got to choose your own life or their life, basically. And I loved this concept. It's not something I've read before. The twist at the end was so shocking, and it's actually made me like fall in love with MJ Arledge, to the point that I own all of his books bar one, well, two if you include the most recent Helen Grace one. These, like I said, fast paced, and you don't feel like you're reading sometimes. You get so lost in them. I think I've seen a few mixed reviews on this, but for me, when you're trying to get out of a slump, short chapters, fast paced books are the way forward for me, and I would strongly recommend this one. With short chapters, you've got nothing to lose. I feel like this slump buster is kind of like my crime and thriller Rex video, but anyway, the next book is The Echo Man by Sam Holland, and this is book 1 in the Major Crimes series. So this follows the Major Crimes unit as they try to find out who is causing a lot of killings in the area, and they don't necessarily connect them until they realise that this person is going around, but he changes every murder, and he is recreating a lot of well-known serial killers. This was fantastic. It's on KU, I believe. I assume it hasn't been taken off since I read it. It's quick, easy. Again, the short chapters are here. Something about Sam Holland's writing had me hooked for the whole series. There are another 3 books after this one, and I believe The Countdown Killer is the last one in the series now. I don't think she's planning on releasing any more. I've recently discovered that Sam Holland writes under another name, Louisa Scar, I believe it is, and I am definitely going to be looking into those books too, because I am obsessed with Sam Holland's writing. Again, short chapters, quick pace, twists you don't see coming. You don't feel like you're reading this book, it's that good. And this was another 5-star read for me, and yeah, I cannot begin to explain to you how good this book was. Yeah, I don't think I can say any more than that, but this book was phenomenal, and yeah, I think this is a fantastic slump buster, as is the rest of the series once you're hooked on this one. Sticking with the thrillers, the next one is The Crucifix Killer by Chris Carter. This is book 1 of the Robert Hunter series. So this is actually quite a lengthy series, but what I will say is, I mean, you do get some character development, but in terms of just a slump buster, this first book is a really good one. I've seen a few people mention several in the series. I think any of them. I believe you can read them as standalones. The cases are separate. However, there is character development. Like a lot of detective series, you can read them as standalones, but if you want the character development, then read the series in order. This is book 1, and this starts with a bang. So Chris Carter's books are on the longer side. However, I think this is one of his shorter ones. But some of them are around the 500 page mark, but you do not feel like you are reading 500 pages. I have read some of Chris Carter's books quicker than I've read 300 page ones, and that is because they are short chaptered, really fast paced, and I think any Chris Carter book is a really good slump buster. I think Chris Carter's got me out of a slump twice now, and honestly, I've literally resorted to them in the past few months. I have been in a slump a couple of times this year due to illness, and both times I've picked up the Chris Carter because of the short chapters, and nothing quite beats it. I'm not a gory girl, but this is gory, and yeah. So if you like a gory thriller, then I'd definitely give this a go, or if you fancy trying it. If you haven't seen any of my reviews, they are over on my TikTok and my Insta, but wow, Chris Carter is an absolute slump buster, and I think probably the top one I would recommend. Last one in terms of thrillers now, and that is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. And in fact, no, I've got another one after this, but this is basically a mixed media book, which is why I think it is a really good slump buster. This follows Lucy, who wakes up, her best friend is dead, and basically she can't remember a thing, but she's made to believe she's done it. So she comes back several years later to try and figure out what is going on. Firstly, the grandma in this is absolutely fantastic. She is hilarious. If you want something that's a bit different, I would recommend this. If you're looking for an audiobook to slump bust, I think this is probably better listened to in audio. I think I did listen to this in audio and I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's a quick and easy read. Now, a lot of people don't like the cover. I do. But yeah, I think this is a good slump buster, particularly as it's mixed media. As you can see, a few of mine are mixed media, which is what kind of helps you get out of that slump busting. But yeah, I would recommend this one, but try it in audio. If you do audiobooks, try this in audio. It's still a good read physically, but I think audio is the best way forward with this one. definitely the last thriller we're going to talk about now, and that is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I do own this book physically, however it's bottom of this stack, which is literally up to the top of my shelf. So None of This Is True follows two people who, basically it's podcast style, mixed media again. I would recommend this in audio to no end. If you need something to listen to while you're doing other things to get out of your slump, this is the book. This has a full cast behind it, guys. Like, it follows two women who, like I said, one of them's doing a podcast and she starts to become a little bit strange. Now, I didn't know what to think of this. Lisa Jewell's books are very different to what I've read. I love Lisa Jewell. I've got quite a few still to read in this stack. I did start collecting them. But honestly, this just blew me away. It was a 5-star read for me last year. And I think it's a really good slump buster even to read physically. But I think if you want something to take your mind away from things, if that's why you're in a slump, I think this is really good. It's got a full cast behind it. It's like listening to a show. It's fantastic. I would strongly recommend it for the mixed media side of things. And yeah, I don't think I can say any more than that about it without spoiling it. But quick, easy. I would recommend audio if you listen to audio, or if not, maybe it's the book to try. But the only thing is, if that is your first audiobook, I feel like expectations will be very difficult to kind of keep up to after that one. And for the romance girlies, I have got Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Now, I was introduced to Lynn Painter by my best friend a couple of years ago, and this was the book she introduced me to. This is my favourite romance of all time. Now, as a thriller girly, romance is not necessarily my style. I think they're really good palate cleansers when you're reading such kind of triggering books in terms of thriller. But for me, the one thing I will say is that this has no smut, which is what I love. I'm not a massive smut reader at all. This follows Wes and Liz, and basically they're like childhood sweethearts. And yeah, there is a sequel to this book, which the book itself was okay, but I didn't think it was necessary. I liked the ending of this book and I didn't want anything to change. This is very much like reading a movie. It is absolutely stunning. I read this so quickly. I can't even explain why it's a slump buster, but I think if you're wanting to come away and have a genre switch particularly, this is definitely the book. I had to mention it because I still talk about this book nearly 2 years after reading it, and yeah, it introduced me to Lynn Painter, who is an author I will continue to read her backlist of, for example, but yeah, wow, this is a slump buster for certain in terms of romance, but yeah. Guys, whilst actually filming this, I've just had another thought of an author I haven't mentioned, and that is Alice Feeney, and that is Rock, Paper, Scissors. Now, I think any of Alice Feeney's books are good slump busters, but I'm going to mention this one because it's on the shorter side. This is 310 pages. This follows Adam and Amelia, who go away on a trip they believe they've won. However, not as all as it seems. And yeah, I mean, I do love a good, like, stuck in a snowstorm, it would seem, because I've mentioned a few where they're stuck in a snowstorm, Never Lie being the other one. Again, Alice Feeney has short chapters, different concepts for her books. The only one where I feel they are similar to each other is this one and Beautiful Ugly. I am going to bring you an Alice Feeney ranking video, as I think I did one about a year ago. However, she's since released another book and I want to fit that into my ranking. Plus, I feel like she's got another one coming soon, so I feel like it's a good time to read her backlist. But yeah, I have read her backlist. I love Alice Feeney. She's such a quick and easy read and a really quick, fast-paced thriller writer. So yeah, I just wanted to give this one a quick mention because I realised I'd forgotten to mention it. So there are just some of my recommendations, guys, of books I think will get you out of a slump and that have helped me get out of slumps in the past. Please let me know in the comments what books have got you out of a slump in the past. I am all for recommendations of books because, you know, slumps are real, particularly I've noticed at this time of year. So let me know in the comments if there's any slump busting books you would recommend. And as always, guys, please make sure you have clicked that subscribe button and I will catch you all on the next video.